The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Thanyarat Krudtung. Chapter 3. Joy and Sorrows. Tom stood before Aunt Polly. The soft summer air, the resort quiet, the scent of the flowers, and the sleepy murmur of the beds had had their effect. And she was kneeling in her armchair. Her spectacles were up on her grey head for safety. She thought that Tom had deserted long ago, and she wanted to see him place himself in her power again in this broad way. "May I go out and pray now, Auntie?" he said. "What, already? How much have you done?" "It's all done, Auntie." "Tom, don't lie to me. I hate lies." "I'm not lying, Auntie. It is all done." Aunt Polly could hardly believe this, and went out to see for herself. She would have been content to find a quarter of Tom's statements true, when she found the entire fence whitewashed, and not only whitewashed, but carefully coated and lacquered. She gaped with astonishment. "Well, I must say you can work when you try, Tom, but it is seldom what you do try." "Well, turn along and play." She was so astonished at Tom's performance that she took him to the cupboard and picked out the finest apple for him. He danced out into the garden and solved it. In a moment the air was full of lumps of earth. They flew loud 6 years, and before Aunt Polly could come to the little 6 or 7 had hit him, and Tom was over the fence and gone. There was a gate, but generally he was too short of time to make use of it. He was satisfied since he had punished Sis for calling attention to the back dress and getting him into trouble. As he was passing the house where Jeff Thatcher lived, he saw a new girl in the garden. She was a lovely little blue-eyed angel with 2 long tails of yellow hair. At once a girl called Amy Lawrence vanished completely out of Tom's heart. He worshipped this new angel until he saw that she had discovered him. Then he pretended that he did not know she was present, and began to act in all sorts of silly boonish way in order to win her admiration. Why, he was in the midst of some dangerous tricks. He glanced aside and saw that the little girl was going toward the house. Tom came up to the fence and leaned on it, hoping that she would wait a little longer. Tom sighed as she put her foot on the doorstep, but his face lit up at once, for she threw a loaf over the fence just before she disappeared. The boy laughed loud, picked up his treasure, and buttoned it inside his coat, next to his heart, or next to his stomach possibly, for he was not quite sure where the one began and the other ended. All through supper he was so grey that his aunt wondered why. She scolded him for throwing lumps of earth and feet, but she did not seem to mind in the least. He tried to steer sugar under his aunt's very nose, and got a tap on his fingers with a spoon. "Aunt, you don't hit Sis when he takes sugar," he said. "Well, Sis doesn't worry me as you do. You would be always stealing sugar. If I didn't watch you," Sis smiled in a self-satisfied way. And when the old lady went into the kitchen, he reached for the sugar basin, but his fingers slipped, and the basin dropped and broke Now it was Tom's turn to smile, but he controlled his tongue and kept slight. He said to himself that he would not say a word, even when his aunt came back. Would sit perfectly still ill? She asked, who had broken the basins. Then he would tell, and it would be delightful to see the model boy get a good beating. He was so weak with joy that he could hardly keep still when the old lady came back and stood above the broken place, looking angrily over her spectacles. He says to himself, now she's going to his seat, and the next instant he was flat on the floor. Her brain was uplight to start again. When Tom cried out, hi, why are you hitting me? Sid broke it. I'm only puzzled, and Tom looked at her for hearing pity. But when she had recovered from her surprise, she only said, well, I'm sure you deserve it. No doubt you were in some mischief while I was in the kitchen. Then her conscience piqued her, and she longed to say something kind and loving. But she judged that this would be taken as a confession that she has been in the wrong, and this script lie forbade that. So she kept slight and went about her home housework with a troubled heart. Tom sat gloomily in a corner and nursed his sorrows. He knew through tearful eyes that she glanced tenderly at him now and again, asking for forgiveness, but he refused to take any notice. He imagined himself lying on his deathbed, and his aunt bending over him, begging for one little forgiving word, but he would turn his face through the wall and die without saying that word. Ah, how would she feel then? And he imagined himself brought home from the laver, dead with his coat all wet, and his poor hands still forever, and his broken heart at last. She would throw herself upon him, and her tears would fall like rain. She would pray God to give her back her boy, and promise she would never ill-treat him any more. But she would lie there cold and pale, and make no sight. Poor little suffer. He was so affected by this vision that he had to keep on swearing. His eyes swam in tears, which overflowed and ran down from the end of his nose. He was enjoying his sorrow so much that any cheerfulness was unwelcome. When cousin Mary danced in, delighted to be home again after a week visit to the country, he got up and moved in cold and darkness out at one door as she burst song and sunshine in at the other. His unhappy heart decided to be alone, and so he wandered far away from the place where boys usually meet. A log left on the laver invited him. He sat down on its other edge and gazed at the wet river, wishing that he could be drowned at once without suffering the youthful plains. Not long after, as Tom was undressing for bed, Sid woke up. He says nothing. He knew from the expressions on Tom's face that it would be unwise to ask him any questions. Tom got into bed without saying these prayers, and this made a note of these bad behaviors.